Go In The Room podcast with fighter Meg Rosado, where we fighting out of Meg? Evolution Athletix in Maine.
Yeah.
And she will be making her debut fighting at Combat Zone 72. Not her MMA debut, the first time fighting for that organization. Thanks for coming on, Meg. I know it's weight cutting week. You just got out of the sauna. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Actually, fight week's going pretty well. This month has been crazy, but fight week's good.
Well, why has this month been crazy?
Back and forth. I mean, the fight game is a back and forth game where you find a fighter, either they get injured or they can fight, or just things don't work out. And this month has been a lot of that. And usually your coaches kind of keep it away from you so you can stay mentally prepared. But in this case, I had to know when or what was happening. So it's been a roller coaster, but we finally got a fight.
Yeah, to bring people up to speed, you were scheduled to fight for Cage Titans on their third combat night. I think that was on November 15th. I think that was scheduled. That fight fell through. The card fell through. And you were still scheduled to fight April Canavan that we'll get to on that card. Well, that card fell through, and luckily Combat Zone was a couple of weeks later that you could get on that card, but it was 2 weeks later, your whole kind of game plan, your whole scheduling and the weight cut, all that was affected, and your ticket sales, everything. So talk a little bit about...
I was supposed to fight the week before, too.
What's that?
The week before, I was supposed to fight at NEF.
Oh, so you had 3 fights, 2 fights kind of. Really? So you've been going, oh, wow. So let's talk about this, Meg. I mean, how'd you keep it all together? I mean, this is going to be your 5th fight, your 5th MMA fight. You're on a 3 fight winning streak. How'd you deal with this, Meg? I mean, this is a new one.
I just trust my coaches. At first, the next one, I got a little emotional because I was ready, and then fight week came, cut week came, and then I was told that she got injured right at cut week. So you're already at that point where you're like, oh, but I'm cutting, and so you're emotional.
Yeah.
But I kind of just pulled it together, and I was like, I think my coach will find me a new one. So, and he did, and then we're scheduled again, and then the card got scratched, and then he got me into Combat Zone. So it's been a roller coaster, but it's all worked out.
You gotta love New England, man. You got 3 MMA cards that have a mix of pros and amis. I mean, and there's 3 of them, and you bounce into each one of them. Now, when you were scheduled for NEF, were you scheduled to fight April also?
No, that was Andrea Holland from what was it? Rhode Island, I think.
Okay.
No.
Really? So you not only changing, this is your 3rd promotion, but this is your 2nd opponent. I mean, wow. Yeah. So all right. So now you had to change game plans because now you're fighting April. I don't know what the previous opponent for NEF was, but April we know has a lot of Muay Thai, a lot of stand up under her belt. So would you have to switch up here as far as changing up a whole new fighter coming in?
I've kind of still stuck with what I've been working on, and I've been working on my striking and my Muay Thai, and my coach just recently started doing one-on-ones with me with mitts and stuff, which has really improved my game, I think. And I'm excited to try it out, the things that we've been working on in the cage. So.
Excellent. Well, we spoke about April. I know April well because she comes from the Team Pride, and they're a big Muay Thai camp, and I've covered a lot of Muay Thai in the past. She's got a ton of Muay Thai fights. This is her first MMA fight. She's actually making her MMA debut against you, which will be your 5th fight. You're on a 3-fight winning streak, 2 finishes in your last 2 fights, first round finishes. and now you're fighting April, who's coming in, who's kind of an unknown. What are you feeling about this?
I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. Even though it's her debut, she has, you know, every time I step into the cage, and I don't know if it's true for everybody, but I feel more confident every single time I step in. So it's not just going to be an easy fight, whether she has no MMA or not. She's been in the ring or whatever 12 times. So she's going to come at me, and it's going to be fun. I really am excited.
Excellent. I know that April does have jiu-jitsu under her belt. You know, if the interviewing her in the past, she's been on the podcast. She talks. She goes, "Well, no one knows I really have jiu-jitsu because I'm always fighting in Muay Thai." But I think she might be a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. So I mean, this is going to be a great, great matchup. And you're both fighting at Combat Zone. She's fighting for the first time MMA and the first time in Combat Zone in doing anything. And you're fighting for the first time in Combat Zone yourself. How do you feel about stepping into their cage?
I'm excited about that as well because I believe they're probably the biggest cage that I would have fought in. So, because looking at all the other cages, it doesn't look as big as that one. Not that the size really matters. I've said that before.
Yeah, that's your catchphrase now, man. That's your catchphrase.
Yeah, that's my catchphrase.
So I mean, speaking about the Neff cage, I mean, it's a small cage. It's really like an intimate cage. There's not much, to really move and figure out your opponent, which you're going to be facing April, who's going to be covering a lot of ground and, with the striking she has. So it's good for you to have that range now. How you feeling about that? Does the game, not the game plan, but does the kind of planning for the fight with the more room in the cage, do you tweak things around that?
No, I've just basically I have been working on my movement, and that's going to be a key thing in the fight because she knows stand up really well, and she's going to want distance and stuff. So I'm definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about the States.
It's nice. It's a great scrap. I mean, your last fight, the fight before that, and your last fight, two TKOs. The fight before that, you were, I mean, looking at your movement on your feet and stuff like that, you didn't get to show too much because, I mean, you hit the ground and you took her out right then. Same thing in the last fight. But you do have that great movement. Are you looking forward to facing someone that has, that might primarily want to keep it standing in there? Are you looking forward to, like, mixing that up?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be more of an interesting fight because of her time in the cage or ring or whatever, and her experience, and me up and coming, and I have a goal, and I'm sure she does. So I think it's going to be a great fight.
It's going to be a great fight. I mean, you're both fighting in there for the first time. I mean, how far is Manchester, New Hampshire from your residence in Maine?
Like an hour and a half, maybe.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's pretty close. I'll be at the fights, and for me, she probably lives about 15 to 20 minutes from me, and it takes me about an hour and 50 minutes to get there. So it ain't too much of a, too bad of a hike for her.
About the same.
So, it's not too bad. So you're both going into cage. You're both going into Combat Zone. How do you feel about, like, the crowd and fighting in somewhere you haven't fought before? Because you have done that before. You fought for Cage Titans for the first time in your career. How you feeling about, what's the difference here? Like, what's going through your mind going into a cage you haven't been to before?
Well, I know with all the other fights, they let us kind of feel out the cage before we actually fight. So that really helps to feel the mats below you and get a feel of the size of the cage and the movement you can do in the cage. And I'm definitely excited about the venue. I've been wanting to get at this venue because it is one of my goals to win the Fighter of the Night trophy.
Nice.
So this is my chance to do it. I had a year goal that I had to accomplish. So I'm gonna be gunning for that for this one. I definitely like how long their walkout is. I feel like that's important.
Yeah.
To not just, I know Neff has like switches up their venues, and sometimes they have like a walkout, and then sometimes like at the Aura you don't have any walkout. It's you literally just walk from a hall into the cage.
Okay.
So that kind of like throws you off a little bit, because you don't get to walk your nerves off.
Feel the crowds, feel the crowd's energy as you're passing them, and actually listening to your song play as you're walking there. And like you said, the Combat Zone is very, very nice. The whole setup there in Manchester. I mean, like you said, the walkout, it's pretty long. I think it's even angles. It's like it comes at you and then it makes like a corner and goes right for the cage. So, it gives you a lot of time to really get your thoughts going in there. So, what do you think? What goes through your mind when you're taking that walk?
Well, my coach kind of whispers in our ear some things, and then you kind of like reminisce on that on your walk. So, I guess that's really what it is. And then, I don't know, you just feel cool. You just feel cool walking. I'm just excited. Fighting is fun to me, so it's just a great experience. Just everything.
Is it getting more fun because it's becoming like second nature to you? Like you're absorbing like a sponge now because the technique's there. It's just like kind of tweaking and learning new tools. Is that kind of how it is? You're like having fun with it now?
Definitely, yes. Every fight I learn something new, and which you should take from a win or a loss. You should always learn something. And I have, and I usually go back and I work on whatever I need to work on. And then going back into the cage again, you gain more confidence for one, and you work with the skills you have, and then the ones you just worked on from the previous fight, and then you see how well you improve from then, and it's just amazing to even just watch that. Even if you lose, it's amazing to watch yourself evolve.
And you have been doing that 3 fights in a row. 2019, you're undefeated in 2019, Meg. You lost your amateur debut against, maybe the number 1 amateur in New England. So, and you've climbed back up. Your weight, bantamweight, is this where we are? Do we feel comfortable? Is this where Meg is going to stay and heading into 2020?
I think we're going to stay here for a little bit, and then maybe explore different weights. But right now I'm comfortable where I'm at.
Excellent. Not killing yourself, weight cut. It's like, it's pretty, unless you got to do it 3 times, like when cards get canceled. When cards get canceled, your mind is just like, I'm gonna go eat Chinese or something like that. You're like, I got a couple more weeks, or I got a week, or whatever. Your mind just plays tricks with you, but you always want to stay prepared. I can imagine. So who's taking the trip with you? It's a couple-hour ride. I know there's going to be. I mean, you didn't get a chance to really sell too many tickets because just the timeline, but I'm sure people are going to make the trek for you. I mean, it's not too far from where you are. Who's taking the trek as far as, friends or coaches, and who's going to be in your corner for you?
I have my normal coaches in my corner, Nate Libby and Bruce Carlton and CJ Kelly. Those are my normal corners. Tap Cancer Out tournament. It's a grappling tournament.
Yeah.
That's going on the same exact day. So I won't have a huge crowd, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm still going to do my thing. I didn't get to sell any tickets because I didn't receive any. We had like a thing going on with commission, and it ended up being my opponent instead of me.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Another hurdle. You're used to it, Meg. You're firing through all these hurdles. You're jumping over them. You're getting there. It's fight week. Your weight seems good. You seem in good spirits. What's left to do? What's today? It's Tuesday, right? Is today Tuesday? Yeah, you got a couple of days to weigh-ins. What's left in these last 2 days?
Just weight cutting, sweating. I don't have many pounds to cut, so I'm working. This is my last shift tonight.
Nice.
And then I'll have some days to sleep, which is really awesome.
Excellent.
And then just sweating. It's the sucks that the weigh-ins are like 5 though. It's so far away.
Oh, 5 in the afternoon. Yeah, it's like, and they never get done on time. It's always like you're like hoping there, and then all of a sudden it's 5. It's like you're staring at your Pedialyte, and you're like, not that I experience personally, but I watch you. I feel the pain that I see in there sometimes. So last thing, Megan, shout outs. Social media. We got a couple of days. And you know what? You might win that, performance of the night, and people need to know where you are to see you raise your hand if that happens for you Saturday night. So let it go.
I have Megan Marie on Facebook, Meg Rosado MMA on Facebook, and I just changed my Instagram to Fighter Meg. It used to be Italian Girl.
That's your nickname. I mean, that's the name. That's the name I'm going to call you for now. You told me that's what your team calls you. I think it fits. I think it's really good. I'll play it like a broken record, and it's going to have to stick. So, Fighter Meg.
Yeah. Awesome. it was a joke name, and it just stuck. It was.
Excellent.
But
excellent.
And then all my sponsors. I'm not going to shout them all out because I can't remember them all, but
that's all right. You're gonna perform for them anyway, and you always give them shout outs on social media.
I'll have them all on my shorts.
Yeah,
and I'll
excellent.
shout them out on my posts.
Awesome. Well,
but
that's all I got for you. I mean, I'm gonna be at the show. I'll be there Saturday to watch it, and I can't wait to see you two ladies go at it. And I mean, it's an intriguing fight. I mean, we have someone in you this is gonna be a 5th fight. This is April's first MMA fight, but she's got 12 Muay Thai fights, lion fight. She's been all over the place, out of a great camp and 2 great camps going at it for the first time at Combat Zone. So Megan, thank you so much for coming on, and rest up, and we'll see you Saturday night.
Awesome, thank you.
Excellent. So Megan, Fighter Meg Rosado, 3-1 bantamweight, fighting this Saturday night, Combat 72, for the first time in her MMA career. Hoping for that performance of the night trophy. So we'll let you know if that happens. So from the Boom Podcast, thanks for tuning in.